Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy PHOTON. I'm feeling great, and I'm coming at you with another spicy deck profile. Today, we've got a deck that's kind of been in my back pocket since early pandemic, I'd say. But it got some new support, and that is Evil Eye. The new support, frankly, is just unbelievable. It enables the deck to extend harder and be more consistent. It really is everything that this deck could have wanted. So the cards are very simple, but they have a lot of text on them, so I'm just going to get right on into it. I think this deck actually has quite a bit of potential in this format. It's got a lot of non-engine space, even if you're playing another sub-engine. I just think it's really good. So the focal point of the deck all revolves around the 3 copies of Serziel, Watcher, the Evil Eye. So on normal, adds an Evil Eye card from deck to hand, except itself. And then if it's equipped with Selene as a quick effect, you can target one special summon monster your opponent controls and destroy it. That effect is a hard once per turn, and then as a soft once per turn during the next standby after this effect is activated, you destroy a card you control. So there's a lot going on with this card. Typically the destruction downside actually triggers some upside effects, so usually that ends up only helping you. And it's just a really good card. Quick effect pop is always going to be good, but also worth noting is that the standby phase downside only checks the next standby phase. So if you do it on your opponent's turn to pop a monster, and then your turn rolls back around, if you activate the effect to destroy another special summon monster in the draw phase, you only have to pop 1 card for the maintenance cost as opposed to 2, 1 in that turn, 1 in the next turn. Just because it's still the next standby phase. So that's a cool interaction just to know about. Keeps your card resources, like your card economy, keeps it as good as possible. It's just a really cool thing you can do. But really good card, fantastic normal summon. And then Serziel has a little army of familiars. So the familiars all extend from different places and have different effects. So we'll get right on into them. 2 of the new one, Basiltrice. If you control an Evil Eye, it's in hand or grave as a quick effect. You can special summon itself, but banish it when it leaves the field. And then during your opponent's turn, you can quick effect link summon an Evil Eye monster using monsters you control as materials. And when you do, you can also use Evil Eye equip spells as monsters. He's really good. He's a quick effect extender and an archetype IP Masquerena. I apologize for that. And it's just really good. Also, having a quick effect extender means that you're not nearly as vulnerable to just normal summoning Serziel, having it be removed and then just having to pass. Occasionally that still can happen, but it's not like, it's nowhere near guaranteed anymore. This really does fix one of the big issues with the deck in being extremely normal summon reliant. Now sometimes it just hurts a little. And then for the older familiars, we're playing just 1 apiece of Basilius and Catoblepas. So the important effects on these, I won't go through everything. This one extends from grave, this one extends from hand, if both of you control an Evil Eye. This one gets banished when it leaves the field. And then Basilius also can sometimes be a starter if you need it to. During the main phase, you can send an Evil Eye spell trap from deck to grave. If it's not a starter, it just helps you extend further. Really good cards. I was not playing Catoblepas for a long time. Card's kind of so-so, but just having a 3rd level 3 extender with a different name just enables you to do a lot of cool things, because the rank 3 toolbox that this deck has access to is very good. So just the 1 is fine. If you're not sold on that, just give it a try. I think you will change your mind on it. And then as you saw earlier, we are playing the Destroy Phoenix Enforcer package because it synergizes extremely well with the deck. So 1 Celestial and 1 Dasher in the monster department. I'm not going to explain these, it's just draw 2. During the next turn after the Fusion Destiny was activated. Fantastic cards. They're a little bit of bricks because we don't have Verte anymore, but it's just so good in this deck, I feel like it's worth it to include anyway. And then the only monster hand type main decking is 3 copies of Ash Blossom. You need Ash. Branded is a really... it's not an unwinnable matchup, but it's very difficult because we don't do a lot of negates. We have a ton of disruptions, but our negate count is actually fairly low. And Branded plays through disruptions no problem. They we do a lot of destruction and they just float off of that, so just we want to try and have this card as much as possible just because of that matchup. So yeah, I mean, that's how it's going to be. Our matchup against the rest of the meta is actually pretty decent. Our Sprite matchup is fantastic because our advantage engine is just so strong and our monsters are huge. But we can get more into that later. So that's it for the monsters. There's a lot of spells in this deck, so let's just keep on going. We're playing 3 copies of Evil Eye Domain Pareidolia. So 3 effects on this bad boy. It's the field spell. When it's activated, you add an Evil Eye monster from deck to hand, so consistency, you take those. Once per turn during damage calculation, if your Evil Eye monster is attacked while Selene's in the spell and trap zone, you can also make the damage you take from this battle inflicted to your opponent. Just remember it has this. Sometimes, I've heard stories of it, I've seen it happen maybe once. Your opponent can sometimes just kill themselves if they run into this thing and they don't know this effect. It's a very long effect. That effect alone is like 4 lines, and people don't read. So just remember it has this. Sometimes you do get to just cheese games because your opponent did not read your cards. And then the other fantastic effect on this card is that if it's destroyed by card effect, while in the field zone, you can target an Evil Eye monster in grave and add it back to hand. I wonder which cards are destroying this while Zerrziel's in graveyard. That's the big interaction that makes Phoenix Enforcer so good in this deck. The field spell is just a phenomenal card. This was probably one of the best cards of the original support waves. It's just so good. It does so much for the deck. And then we have 3 copies of the other new card. Evil Eyes Unleashed is just an actual custom card. So for cost, it sends an Evil Eye spell trap and an Evil Eye monster from deck to grave to search an Evil Eye equip, but for the rest of the turn, you lose 500 life every time you activate a non-Evil Eye card or effect. That send is for cost. That's insane. So you're sending your monster that has a graveyard effect and your spell and trap that has a graveyard effect to search pitch fodder for your Gorgoneio, which we'll get to in a second. So this is a starter. It's one of the best starters because it just gets everything going, and it has another effect on that. So you can banish it from grave if you link summon an Evil Eye Link monster to non-targeting equip an Evil Eye equip spell from grave to an Evil Eye Link monster you control. So this means that your Basilius, not your Basilius, your Basiltrice that you're quick linking with, doesn't just make the Link monster, it makes the Link monster and enables you to immediately load up your monster with the equip spell so that their disruption is online. It does so much for the deck. This really does allow the deck to have access to both Serziel plus one of its Link monsters, which really does just increase the ceiling dramatically. You can also do that with a rank 3 as well, which that's a solid end board because all of this is a 1-card engine. Unleash, Domain, Serziel, and Terraforming all do that. Fantastic cards. So these are the starters. We kind of have some engine pieces now. We have 2 copies of Selene and 2 copies of Gorgoneio for the equip spells. So Selene has a lot of text on it. A lot of text, but I'm gonna go through it real quick. So both of these can only be equipped to an Evil Eye. If Selene is equipped, the monster can't be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effects, and your opponent can't target the card effects. Also, each time you activate the equipped monster's effect or another Evil Eye spell or trap card not effect, you lose 500 life and the equipped monster gains 500 attack. It is worth noting that the attack gain sticks even if Selene leaves the field. And, because the card just keeps going, if it's in grave, you can pay 1,000 life and banish an Evil Eye equip spell from grave, except another copy of Selene, to reset it. So it can recur itself, makes your guy untargetable and indestructible. It's a really good card. It doesn't really do anything on its own, so it can brick you a little bit. Very, very rarely. But it's fine. It's a pitch material for Gorgoneio, just does everything that you want. Speaking of, Gorgoneio can only be equipped to an Evil Eye monster and can only be activated once per turn, which is interesting. Selene doesn't have that on it. So this card's name becomes Evil Eye of Selene while in the spell and trap card zone, which is perfect. That's 4 copies of Selene technically. And then while your life are lower than your opponent's, the equipped monster gains attack equal to the difference. So if you get really low and your opponent's really high, you can just one-shot your opponent randomly. Pretty cool. Then you can banish this card from grave and discard an Evil Eye card to add an Evil Eye spell trap from deck to hand, except Gorgoneio. So those dead Selenes that we're searching off of Unleashed are now discard fodder to get to like our field spell. Really, really, really good card in the graveyard. Gorgoneio is fantastic. This is one of the older pieces of legacy support, and it really does just do so much for the deck. The last Evil Eye spell that we're playing is the 1 copy of Evil Eye Awakening. So this just summons an Evil Eye from hand or grave, or if Selene's in your spell and trap zone, you can special summon an Evil Eye from deck instead. This card's good. You just have it for like corner cases. Sometimes you need that extra extender. Sometimes you use it to play through like spot removal on your Zerrziel. It's just a good card. I like it. 1 of is fine in the main. That's it for the Evil Eye spells. We have a bunch of just generic spells now because they're really good in the deck. So of course the 3 copies of Fusion Destiny. We know how good this card is. Because this is at 3, we get to play it at 3, and we intend to do so. If it was at 2, I probably would not be playing the DPE package, but it's not, so here we are. Fantastic card. 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. We don't really use that many cards in our extra deck, so we can always go for 6 on the first one. If we find the second one, I'm considering going for 3, but really good card, obviously. And then I went a little low on my hand trap count because I just wanted to play cards that are good both going first and going second. I want cards that I can draw for turn and clear like an Arise Heart with, because we actually cannot even activate Unleashed under Arise Heart, which is annoying. But that's a whole nother thing. So I have 6 ways to deal with Arise Heart spell-wise in the main. So we're playing 3 copies of Book of Moon and 3 copies of Enemy Controller. We're always having access to some kind of monster, so Econ is always just a quick effect take. And I've played enough Striker in my time to know that quick effect yoinking a monster is really good. And Book of Moon almost goes without explanation in this format. Just flipping monsters face down is so incredibly good against both the cash and sprite matchups. These are just really, really playable cards in the deck. Fantastic additions. And then we're just playing the Terraforming. Consistency, you know, is what it is. We're not playing Call By in this deck because hand traps other than Ash aren't really that great in this format, and Ash is only okay against me anyway. We have enough gas, we can usually just push through it, so I'm not worried about that. And then we play a couple traps, so we're playing 3 Infinite Impermanence, probably the best hand trap this format. It's so good against so many things. And then 1 copies each of Defeat and Retribution. So Defeat, if you control an Evil Eye, both of them require you to control an Evil Eye, by the way. So targets a monster on the field, or up to 2 of Selene's in your spell and trap zone, and return them to the hand. This card's questionable this format. I just saw double compulse and my mind turned into, like, you know, little Altergeist Silkwitnesses. Double compulse is good. This is definitely, if you don't like it, I wouldn't be opposed to cutting this card. I think it's only okay. There are some matchups, again, like Sprite, where double compulse is crazy. Also against Branded, this card's actually not that bad. And then Retribution is one of the power cards in the deck. If a spell and trap card is activated while you control an Evil Eye, negate the activation and destroy it. And if Selene's in the spell and trap zone, the activation and effect can't be negated, but it's a counter trap. I don't know. Spell and trap negates are always good, so this card is just fantastic. So of course we will continue to main deck just the 1 because it's really searchable now. The deck really can consistently find Serziel with Equip plus 1 extra search. So now the individual options like the Awakening, like the Defeat, become a lot better than they used to be. So that is it for the main deck. Let's get into the extra deck. The extra has some, it's got a lot of flex spots on it. So we're just gonna get right into it. Of course, the Phoenix Enforcer, fantastic card in the deck. Just synergizes super well, as we've already talked about. Good card. For the Link monsters, we're playing 2 copies of Gorgon and 1 copy of Zerrziel. So both of these have a first effect. Gorgon gains 100 attack for each Evil Eye card with different names with engrave. So sometimes it's consistently gaining like maybe 200 attack to 400 attack. It's cool, you know, just a little extra attack never hurt nobody. If it's equipped with Selene, as a quick effect, you can target an effect monster your opponent controls and negate its effects until end of turn. That's a hard once per turn. And then during the next standby phase, after this effect is activated, you destroy a monster it points to. You just don't ever put anything to its arrows, so that effect activates, doesn't have a target, and then just cool. I mean, you paid the cost. Really, really good card. Quick effect negation of a monster on field is always good. This is typically what you're making off of your Basiltrice, especially in a cash matchup, because you don't want to clear their guys, you just want to negate them. And then Zerziel is the Link 3. He's kind of the big daddy if you're able to make him. So if he was Link Summon using a monster with 2600 or higher attack as material, it can make a second attack during each battle phase. And then as a quickie, if it's equipped with Selene, you can target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. So Serziel destroys a special summon monster, Zerziel just destroys a card. This is typically what you're making into like back row decks, because you can just start ripping apart their back row. DPE, and this is like 3 destructions, because you can do this in the draw phase as well. Same, again, this has the same trick as Serziel, where you can just do it again in the draw phase. You only have to pay the cost once. It's a playable card, you know. Quick effect removal on a guy that's going to be untargetable and indestructible is always going to be fine. And then we have some utility link monsters, 1 copy of Unicorn and 1 copy of Goddess. I have never made these. These are just Prosby targets. You just have these if you need them. Goddess is there just as like Ignister insurance, because I don't want to go to a regional and lose round 2 because I wasn't able to out in a rival Cybers. The extra deck's loose enough. I would just play this just to have it. Now for the Xyz monsters. There's a lot of them. So you kind of have your bread and butter Xyz monsters. So we have 1 copy of DDD Stone King Darius in tandem with the Deviser King Machinex. I'm just going to lay these all out, and then we can get to what they do individually. So we have those as an option. We have 1 Ashura King, 1 Break Sword, 1 Gossip Shadow, 1 Fortune Tune with Downard and double Zeus. So this is the Xyz suite. This is the rank 3 package that deck has access to. Darius is possibly, well, Darius into Machinex, I should say, is probably the best option the deck has the most often. So because our monsters are all fiends, we get access to this. Machinex is a non-once per turn suck of a monster on field. It attaches this material by detaching 2 materials. So in standard combo, you are making this with 3 materials because you have Darius and the 2 materials under it. So you detach 3, attach 1 goes to 2, detach 2, attach 1 goes to 1, double suck. Really, really good, and he's also just huge. So being able to get a 3k beater off of 2 level 3s is fantastic. Ashura King takes 3 level 3s, but it's a monster negate and destruction by detaching material, and it can attack multiple times. Really, really cool. Break Sword is the classic rank 3 monster. Just target a card you control and a card your opponent controls and destroy them both. Again, another way to proc your field spell, if I can ever find it. Yep. Just more ways to trigger Domain to get back Serziel. Fantastic card, especially in this deck. Gossip Shadow is your monster negate if you aren't under Prosperity and can't get to the 3 materials that Ashura King needs. If you're committing into a land that loses to Nibiru, you can make this. Good card. And then Fortune Tune into Downard into Zeus. We play double Zeus because of Kashtira. 4 material Zeus is pretty good. I think I've summoned Zeus maybe once in this deck. You're not typically trying to, but just having that option. That's, again, I want to stress with a deck like this, the extra deck is a toolbox. You have your answers to different things based on the situation. And being as versatile as possible in an extra deck like this, I think is critical to this deck's success. But yeah, that is it for the deck profile portion. Let's get into some of these test hands, shall we? Because this deck has a lot of cool lines of play. Alrighty, y'all, welcome to the test hands portion of the video. I got the deck all shuffled up, so we're just gonna get right on into it. There's not a lot of different plays the deck has access to. It kind of does the same bread and butter combo. The end bosses can be a little bit different. So we'll just show a couple. They all kind of do the same thing. Hand number 1, we got Selene, Basilius, Domain, Retribution, and Book of Moon. This is a pretty average hand. So we're going to activate our Domain. That's going to search for our Serziel. Then we will normal summon the guy and activate his effect. That will get our copy of... where is it? Add Unleashed. Then we will activate Unleashed, sending Basiltrice and Gorgoneio. Then, because we already drew Gorgoneio, we get to search... because we already drew Selene, we get to search the other copy of Gorgoneio, just for extra follow-up engraved, which is really nice. So, we will do that. Next, we will activate Basilius engraved in hand, to summon itself, and activate effect to send an additional copy of Unleashed. that will be there. Yep. Next, we just Basiltrice and Grave to summon itself. Then exceeds these two into Stone King Darius, into Machinex. So this line does play into Nibiru. So if we wanted to minimize that, oh, I'm bumping into things. If we wanted to minimize the playing into Nibiru, we can then we can go for non-Machinex and go for Fortune Tomb, not Fortune Tomb, Gossip Shadow instead, to get the monster negate by changing the effect into drawing cards. I don't really like that, personally, so instead I will just Gorgon, pitch Gorgon to add our copy of Awakening. The reason I'm doing this is because if they want to Nibiru me, I will just summon back my Serziel, and then I still have Serziel plus back row plus quick linking with Basiltrice, especially since we haven't used the Graveyard Effect of Selene yet. So we will just activate that, set 2, and pass. Like I said, if we nib, we just lose that. The Awakening, summon back Serziel, Selene, pay 1,000, banish Awakening, reset itself, equip, and then we pass back to our opponent. We have Retribution to negate stuff, Book of Moon flip, Serziel pop, and then a quick link with Basiltrice through Nibiru, which is really, really good. So that's hand number 1. Let's get around to hand number 2. I'll be doing 3 hands. If the second one doesn't show us the Fusion Destiny line, then I will forcefully add it to my hand in hand number 3. But we will see if that ever needs to happen. So hand number 2, Ash Blossom, Enemy Controller, Evil Eye Defeat, Pot of Prosperity, and Fusion Destiny. All right, there it is. We found it. Okay, so this Prosperity does kind of need to find us an Evil Eye starter because we don't have one at the moment. So we will Prosperity, usually banishing second Gorgon, Unicorn, Goddess, the Downard, second Zeus, and the Fortune Tomb. Because Fortune Tomb is only kind of there if you really need to connect a Zeus, but I have never summoned it personally. It's just there as an option, like I said. Alright, so we will dig 6 deep. Oh, Serziel is a starter. Yeah, we'll just take Serziel. Why not? So we'll do that. Oh, hello. Then we just do the bread and butter combo. Normal Serziel, Serziel's effect, adding Unleashed. I'm not even gonna put the deck down, we'll just keep going. After Unleashed, sending Basiltrice and Gorgoneio. To add Selene. I think I just passed it. Where did it go? I guess I didn't pass it. All these cards have red and pink on them. So send those two, add Selene. Or Gorgoneio, banish itself, pitch Selene, add Field Spell. Activate Field Spell, add Basilius. Then we will summon with Basilius. Basilius effect send. Another copy of Unleashed, because that's going to be the banish material for the Selene engrave to get it back. So pay 1,000, banish, reset. We're at 6,500 life at this point. Equip Selene Serziel. Now we have a dilemma. So what we could do is we could summon back Basiltrice and make Gossip Shadow. That's 4 summons, and then we Fusion Destiny, that's summon number 5. However, we cannot Gossip Shadow negate the Nibiru because we Prosperitied. So, what I will actually opt to do is not trigger Basiltrice Engrave at all this turn. Instead, I'm just gonna Fusion Destiny. Because game 1, a lot of decks are still kind of main decking Nibiru, even though cash players, the good ones, are not really committing into it game 1. You still just kind of have to play it in case your opponent gets greedy. So I want to commit to that as little as possible. Oh my god, I'm drawing cards, I apologize. We'll do that and summon Enforcer. And then I'm fine just passing on this. The reason why is we just set 2 and go. So we have our Serziel pop, we have our quick link again with Basiltrice. We have Ash for our opponent, which every deck is getting Ash somewhere. We have double compulsive needed, but also the enemy controller does extra work because Zerziel requires 2 or more Evil Eye monsters, but Gorgon takes 2 monsters, including an Evil Eye. So we can enemy controller tribute Basilius, take our opponent's monster, and then summon back Basiltrice, and then link off using Basiltrice and the Basiltrice, the Selene. Actually, no, that doesn't work. Never mind. I'm being a little bit of an idiot because we wouldn't have access to an Evil Eye spell. But we could still just link off their monster for Gorgon if we want. We can actually pop, if we're getting really creative, we could pop the Selene and the opponent's card with DPE, and then from there link off our opponent's monster and our Basiltrice into Gorgon. Then Selene's engraved, so we get to banish Unleash to re-equip it. That's one of the, again, just little interactions we're kind of seeing determine the best way to play the deck, just hand by hand. But TP does a lot of work here. So, like I said, we're going to Ash our opponent at some point. And even if the board gets cleared, DP is probably getting destroyed, right? That's just how the game goes. Selene goes, and we just draw for turn. It's not a monster, so we don't have to dash her. We just set that card, activate. DP will come back, I apologize. Celestial, banish, draw 2, what do we find? Cool, another Fusion Destiny, which is dead, but we have a Basiltrice, so just getting the other copy of that in rotation so that our next copy of Unleashed or Zerziel can just search for the other extenders and just keep going from there. So that was hand number 2. We'll do one more hand. Also, apologies if you hear what sounds like some low grunting. I got my dog in here with me. Her name's Boo. She's an English Cream Golden. She's really, really cute. Keely's also in here. She's my other dog. They're both Goldens. They're both sweethearts. But Big Boo gets a little bit, she gets really comfy when she just lands on the floor. So she just grunts and groans, and we call them boo-boo noises. She's very cute. But yeah. Back to the deck, we'll do one more hand. So I don't have to demonstrate the Fusion Destiny line, we already drew it. That just kind of shows how we will play it typically. Game number 3. There it is, Fusion Destiny, Serziel, Basiltrice, Prosperity, Domain. Oh my god. This is one of the hands of all time. So we will Domain. Actually I lied, we don't leave with that. We leave with Serziel. So we normal Serziel, activate effect. That's going to search Unleashed. Now in this instance, we will not activate Prosperity because we already found everything we want. So we want to make the play and commit into Nibiru, but be able to negate it, obviously. So we will do that, and we drew Basiltrice too. Wow, that is insane. So Serziel searching, I believe Unleashed, I don't remember. We'll activate Unleashed. It's going to send, because we already have Basiltrice. We will go for Gorgoneio and Catoblepas. For, why did I shuffle it back and put it back? We still need to search. It's not just foolish, it's a searcher too. Unleashed is crazy. Go for Selene. Next up, we get to Gorgoneio, banish itself, pitch Selene to search our copy of Retribution, because Retribution is a very good card. Next, we will activate Domain. That's going to search for our Basilius. And again, Basiltrice just being so versatile because it can summon itself from hand as well, is going to show itself here. So we will summon Basilius, activate his effect, sending another Unleashed. Selene, pay 1,000, banish the second Unleashed, reset itself. Equip to Serziel, summon Basiltrice, summon Catoblepas. That's summon number 4. Summon number 5 will be the Ashura King. So we did that, and now we actually can Pot of Prosperity, because I wasn't thinking about it initially, but we had access to the Ashura King line. We'll pay a decent amount of life for it here, but it's going to be fine, because we're putting up the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Digging 6 deep. And finding Serziel, Book of Moon, Ash, Terraforming, Gorgoneio, and Crossbeam. We'll just take the, we'll take the Ash. Loses to the least, doesn't lose to back row hate, doesn't lose to, what's it called? It just works. If they had all the stuff, this is still fine. So we do that, we lost 500 life. So we're at 65, and then we Fusion Destiny. We're losing 500 more, we're at 6,000. Getting Dasher, and Celestial. So we just summon out the Phoenix Enforcer. There we go, that's the board. So notably, we still have access to the Quick Link line as well because we just detached Basiltrice. We don't need these two to be engraved for that to happen. The only one that's important to detach is, of course, the Quick Summoner, but this is a lot of disruptions. So we have Monster Negate, Quick Effect Pop, Negate, Ash, Summon back, and then Quick Link for either another Negate or Quick Effect Pop. And then we have DP Engine as well, just in Graveyard to draw 2, so we're drawing 2 more, that's insane. The deck's advantage really can just go insane. So that is all I got for y'all. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please make sure to like the video. If you want to see more from me, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. I saw we hit 300 subscribers, which I'm super thankful for. Thank y'all so much again. It really means a lot to me. I'm just seeing each video get that little bit more growth is fantastic. I love it so much. I'm just super grateful to have y'all. Really excited to hit 500 subscribers one day. It doesn't sound like much, but that's 500 people that are watching my videos and like my videos, and that makes me really happy, and I'm just super grateful for that. So thank y'all again for watching. I have been Pay8. I'm still feeling great. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.